Hi, what's up? My name is Adam, and you are on Cyber Raccoon channel. Today I keep talking about the best games on Xbox Game Pass. Watch the video to the end, subscribe our channel, and you will always be aware of what to play today. Spiritfarer. What do you get by combining Animal Crossing farm sim elements with Edith Finch's tale on grievance counseling? It's a great privilege to acquire Spiritfarer, the nicest game ever in 2020, to play on Game Pass. From the Thunder Lotus independent firm, Spiritfarer employs the same hand-drawn art as the games of the studio, just like YouTube. Places them all in a hugely purgatory realm where players direct their loved ones towards the things beyond. Dull and sincere, Spiritfarer is one of a kind entirely. Outlast 2 is really scarce, and I guess you'll get pretty scared of it too, particularly if you haven't played the first. The game is the scariest I have ever played. This sequel borrows from the first game a lot of the same fearful tactics which helped us to start the modern era of defenseless horror first person, but the sequel becomes bigger with its central cult and its unforgettable villains who are constantly following you like a haunted fountain that follows you. I almost did not finish my evaluation in time since it was so difficult to pass, based only on its fear element. Somehow Knockout City is the overstretched answer of EA to the Rocket League, since it takes elements that you know, love and play with. It brilliantly invents the shooter as a 3v3 multiplayer game by framing it inside the dodgeball framework, and it truly does excel for this purpose. Bellin Studios spoke about how difficult it was to ensure that the throw and catch mechanics function in a reliable way online when latency is sometimes not ignored. But Knockout City is rapidly becoming one of the breakout successes of the year because the team really touches on this element. With a fun retro-futuristic world and tons of customization, this has a chance to be the next beloved EA Originals title and perhaps even the biggest game under that banner yet. Fable Anniversary. Everybody has a favorite Fable, and perhaps the next one from Playground Games for many people. However, before we get there, come to the start of the series with this recreation of the original masterpiece. The Fable Anniversary is still very old, but it still stands as a fantasy RPG that is more eager than any other game to enjoy itself and its genre. You can see a lot of what Microsoft drew back here in the original game in this distinct environment. Nothing like Fable actually exists. The Evil Within 2. While Tango Gameworks has never looked like selling for a third game, it is hoped that the team will be able to revisit this universe if it chooses to be under the umbrella of Xbox Game Studios. The endlessly gorgeous and tiringly impassive Evil Within 2 takes up The Last of Us as much as Resident Evil 4 does the first game. With a tiny open world, side quest, and more stealthier battles, this is a game that tries and should be rewarded with your attention. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim. While numerous Bethesda games have been in the Game Pass and many more since that the publisher/parent studio's business is bought by Microsoft, and 7 additional studios are now on the go, just a handful of the teen games can excite Skyrim. It is amazing to return the game, now over a tenth of an age, and see what it still contains in most aspects, whether it is your first time landing at the chilly area of Tamriel or loading a saved game with hundreds of hours of money. Peggle 2. You would find someone who doesn't enjoy Peggle on Earth hard-pressed. This classical PopCap connection to Tetris occasionally came from the pleasant pinball meets Plinko gameplay. The industry, like this foundational puzzle, may not have made an impact, but Peggle remains an omnipresent among those who played. Both the original and the successors in the Game Pass are very praiseworthy. The node for Peggle 2 comes here since it's suddenly accessible in your Game Pass last subscription's Xbox Cloud library, which makes it the greatest Peggle on mobile game available. The Tale of Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, which encompasses 2 core games and 2 spin-offs, has not been completed, although while we are waiting for Wolfenstein 3, BJ endures a transformational metamorphosis in this sequel that will leave the jaw on the ground. Machine Games obviously doesn't shake off this reimagination of one of the historical game series. That's an absolute requirement. Dishonored 2. We award the lead over its predecessor to this stubborn action sequence as it provides 2 campaigns with 2 unique heroes, but from the outset you truly cannot go wrong. Dishonored is a stylish game with a range of games and a global structure that matches. This is the game that put Arcane developer on the map for so many admirers, and that is why whatever the studio creates these days is extremely highly anticipated. The Red Dead Online world was always going to be more niche than GTA 5, but for the right player, it's well worth saddling up. Red Dead Online recently split from the main game and became its own download in the store, and it's this that players can now access with their Game Pass subscription. Included in the experience is a lot more story than what you might expect, and after you make your character, you'll see just how your lively Red Dead Online world ties into the main story of Arthur Morgan in interesting ways. Second Extinction is not yet in 1.0, since this game preview is still created with the assistance of the community, but is already being formed into an explosive dinosaur survival shooter best played with some boyfriends. The Second Extinction is like a game you can dig in your teeth for quite a time, with numerous character classes to test and a magnificent open environment with plenty to open. MLB Show 21 was created waves by Sony Santa Monica when it was unveiled as a Game Pass game. We will let the fanboys do it while we enjoy the best baseball sim on the market. MLB The Show 21 is all you ever wanted in a baseball game, now on Xbox platforms at last. More modes than any other big game and a realistic feature that few can come near. Destiny 2. No one of them has been more important than Destiny when we speak of live PC service games. With the Game Pass, a ton of new content for Destiny 2 may be served huge the gamers live. Those who play through Game Pass will immediately be included in Shadowkeep and Forsaken for no additional change. Just before the next chapter, Beyond Light, you receive a lot of the current material from the game. Tetris Effect connected. Someone who doesn't like Tetris is almost hard to find. The blocks that are always falling were the hallmark of video games over decades and have often reinvented themselves, none more satisfactorily than Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect is one of the most spectacular games to enjoy with party music and a visual display that is similar to the laser light show. The new connected component of the game indicates that you and your pals have also a multiplayer, which makes it a wonderful socially distant party game. Gang Beasts. There is a new type of action games with clay-like avatars floating over a multiplayer, and Gang Beasts is perhaps the greatest one in the crowded sector unexpectedly. This one was the first to get viral, Squishy Fighter, and you'll see what's so humorous about the ragdoll-ish boxer. This one is the first to get viral. Bring a few of pals up and toss them down. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, watch our other videos, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.